Hi, I'm someone, and today I'm going to be summarizing a document that I wrote a while ago about how to set boundaries without guilt. In a way, it builds self-respect, deepens your relationship, and sets you free. And it's going to start this with the foundations of all boundaries is consequence. Without consequence, there is no boundary. Yeah. Why boundaries matter. Let's get one thing clear. Having your boundaries respected builds self esteem. Having them ignored, even by yourself, destroys it. Boundaries are not selfish. They're how you protect your energy, communicate your needs, and build healthy relationships. They're compassion in action for yourself and others. Brene Brown's research found that the most compassionate people, monks, nurses, even the Dalai Lama, all had one thing in common: clear, firm boundaries. Compassionate people ask for what they need. They say no when they need to, and when they say yes, they mean it. They're compassionate because their boundaries keep them out of resentment. That's a quote from Brené Brown. Boundaries equal action and consequence. Real boundaries are made up of two parts. Number one, a clear request or limit. Number two, a clear consequence if it's ignored. It's not don't yell at me. It's if you yell at me, I'll leave the conversation. It's not about punishment, it's about clarity. It creates a playground with rules where everyone feels safer because you're giving them a playground to play in. The 4 steps of setting boundaries without guilt. Number one, discover your boundaries. Notice when you feel resentment, discomfort, or drained. That's your nervous system telling you that a line's been crossed. Reflect on your patterns, listen to your body. That's your map. State the boundary clearly. Use both parts. If X happens, I'll do Y. Like, if you keep showing up late, I'll start waiting and go ahead without you. Consequences make boundaries real, not just words. Number three, enforce the consequence. If you don't follow through, people won't take you seriously. More importantly, you won't take yourself seriously. Enforcing boundaries builds trust in yourself. Even if it's hard, even if people get upset, especially then. Number four, restate with stronger consequences if needed. If someone keeps pushing, escalate. If you keep treating me disrespectfully, I'll need to distance myself permanently. That isn't drama, it's dignity. Examples of strong boundaries, and this is homework for you people pleasers. I want you guys to find this document, which is on my website, and I want you to just read these out loud to yourself. And I want you to just share them with other people, as in read them out loud then to other people. And if they can hold space for you, then I promise you this will begin to build your self-esteem. Even though this is like a flexible boundary, you might not even need it. And you can tell them, hey, I just want to practice saying this out loud. Will you allow me to say this out loud? And if they say yes, then yes, say this out loud because this is awesome. So, I don't lend money to friends. If you ask, I'll say no and direct you to other resources. I love saying this stuff out loud because it actually makes me feel stronger and higher self-esteem and with more conviction. If you raise your voice at me, I'll leave the conversation until we can speak calmly. If you ask me for money, I will kindly decline and suggest other resources that might help. Notice my deflection up as if I'm asking a question when really it should be a statement, so I'll do better with my tone. If you ask me to meet last minute, I may not be available, and I won't rearrange my schedule. If you constantly avoid honest conversations, I will limit my emotional investment. If blame is shifted entirely onto me, I will pause the discussion until we can both reflect on our roles. If you make me feel ashamed of my emotions, I will limit how much I share until we can rebuild trust. If you communicate with me in a passive-aggressive way, I will call it out or disengage. If a relationship constantly drains me, I will step back or end it. If you lash out at me, I'll remove myself from the situation and let you handle your own emotions. If you shut me out instead of communicating, I will use time to focus on myself rather than chasing for your approval. If you try to manipulate me with guilt, I will stand firm in my decision and reduce my contact with you. If communication becomes about winning rather than understanding, I will take a step back until we can approach it differently. If you yell at me, I will leave the room. So succinct, but so easy to understand, and then people can make their own decisions from there. I won't tolerate passive-aggressive behavior. If it happens, I'll call it out or disengage. Boundaries are flexible, not rigid walls. They change as you grow, but they always serve one purpose: to protect your energy so love can flow freely. My personal favorite is if I feel disrespected, I'll get upset and we'll need to talk about it. You notice how it's if I feel disrespected. It's not if you disrespect me. It's how I actually feel. Because I have borderline personality disorder, often I misunderstand and take things out of context and catastrophize. So most of the time when that when I do feel uh disrespected, I will get upset. That's a natural consequence. And then we're going to have to talk about it. And the way that I talk about it, vast majority of the time, isn't, hey, you're being real disrespectful to me. It's like, hey, I feel disrespected when you happen to say that. I feel like it's a misinterpretation. It's probably a misinterpretation from my side. Can you please tell me what you mean by what you say? And the interesting outcome of that is that majority of the time it actually is a misinterpretation. And after that, I'm like, cool, you can say that to me whenever you want, because now I understand where you come from when you're saying that, and therefore I will not feel disrespected because I understand where you're coming from. Of course, if they are being like, if the way that they mean it is disrespectful, then I can provide appropriate boundaries as to like, if you're going to speak with me like that, I'm going to get upset, and I'm probably going to have to give myself some space to chill out, and then we're going to have to talk about it again. And it eventually leads to, dude, if you keep on treating me in this particular disrespectful way, in which case, like, I've interpreted it after having a conversation with you about it still feeling disrespectful, still being disrespectful as far as I'm concerned, then this relationship isn't for me. It's nothing personal. It's nothing about you. It's not just about this particular behavior I don't necessarily need in my life. And it's not personal the way other people treated me this way. They probably wouldn't want me in my life anyway, and that's cool. Final words. If you've made it this far, you're probably ready to say yes to yourself. So here's the challenge. Start enforcing just one boundary this week. Not perfectly, just honestly. And if you want to help unpack your old patterns, finding your voice and building unshakable self-worth, for one-on-one sessions within shadow work, inner child healing, and boundary mastery, let's do the deep work together. Remember, boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to life you truly want. Let's build yours. So yeah, I would love for you to comment or like or subscribe to this meandering. Um, but fundamentally, I want to sit down with you and I want to talk to you about where your boundaries are at and help you develop them. And the great thing about doing the first 2 to 3 hour session with me is that quite often I'll get a phone call. I'll be like, "Hey, this is going on," and I'm like, "Yeah, cool." Within 5 to 10 minutes, the person is, well, within the first minute, often people have calmed the down, and within like 10 minutes, they know exactly what to do with the situation. And I guess teaching that clarity is really what I love doing, and teaching to have more meaningful conversations through these disagreements and creating more connection through these uncomfortable conversations is fundamentally one of my life goals, because I am like, don't get me wrong, I'm entertained by it, but I'm kind of like tired of life being so polarizing. So thank you so much for this. If you go to chasingshadows.co.nz, on the front page, there is a link to this document. Please go to that document, scroll down, or read the whole thing because it's like way more in depth than this video, but just scroll down until you find the examples of boundaries, that big list. And I just want you to say them out loud. Say them out loud and just like tell me how that feels. Because imagine the outcome is going to be is you're going to start doubting yourself a little bit. There'll be that bit that's beating yourself up, but that other part is like, yeah, this actually resonates me very strongly. This gives me back my voice, and I love, I love being able to facilitate people having their voice back. So yeah, thank you so much for the time, and love you all. Okay, bye bye.